You considering buying a house? Look, don't make any moves until you have seen this in-depth step-by-step guide of exactly what you should expect when buying a house. Now, this video is the second half of 15 steps of the home buying process that we are going to cover, okay? This video will help put your understanding of the buyer process much further ahead than other buyers and alleviate a lot of the stress that could come with the buying process. Now, for the sake of your time, like I said, I've broken it up into 2 videos. This is part 2. So let's go ahead and move forward and cover the second half from when you go into escrow until the day that you actually close. By the way, I'm Andre Eastman, aka Dre, your Cali Valley Realtor, and the only one offering this level of service to my clients. So save this video for future if you ever have planned to buy, so you know what to expect through the escrow process. All right, let's go ahead and do this. Now, as a quick reminder, here are the first 7 steps that I discussed in the first video. Now, let's move on to the first step in this video, but actually step 8 in the whole home buying process. Deposit your EMD. Now, once your offer has been accepted, you will need to be ready to deposit your earnest money deposit. This deposit is a payment a buyer is willing to put up to demonstrate their serious intention in purchasing the property. It helps to provide assurance to the seller that the buyer is committed to completing the transaction and serves as a form of security for the seller, since they will be taking the property off of the market once the offer is accepted and could possibly incur costs or miss out on other potential buyers during the transaction process if the buyer was to back out. Now, the amount of the earnest money deposit varies depending on several factors like market conditions, local customs. In general, though, the earnest money deposit is usually reflected as a percentage of the purchase price, typically ranging between 1% and 5% of the total, depending on the market. Now, this deposit will be held in an escrow account until the closing of the transaction and will then be applied to the buyer's down payment or closing costs. Something else to note is that if you, as the buyer, were to fail to fulfill your obligations under the purchase agreement, such as backing out of the deal without a valid reason, the earnest money deposit could possibly be forfeited to the seller to compensate them for the time and expenses. Conversely, if the seller fails to meet their obligations, the buyer may be entitled to the refund of the earnest money deposit. Number 9, schedule home inspections. Now it's time to do some due diligence for the home, which is to get a home inspection, and it is one of the only out-of-pocket expenses during the home buying process. This is typically around $300 to $500 depending on the market. Now, I highly recommend to get a home inspection. Please do this because when you go under contract, you want to make sure the home is in proper working order. Now, home inspectors will test everything inside and outside the house. They will inspect the roof and make sure everything is in correct working order, so they are trained generalists at evaluating these homes, not specialists. So they give you a general sense of how the home functions, all right? Their inspection reports are like a report card for your house, and if it's got a bad grade in a specific area, this will be noted and reflected in this inspection report. Now, please understand that these inspections always have something on them. Nothing ever comes back perfectly. This is only an indicator that the home you're about to purchase is in good working order. Step number 10, negotiate inspection repairs. Once the inspection reports are completed and you've gotten the report back, it is now time to negotiate the repairs. You and your agent will look over the inspection report and decide what things you would like to have the seller fix. Now, any items that aren't working correctly warrant a repair request. So if a sink is leaking, that's something to ask the seller to fix. Now, cosmetic issues are not things to bring up in a repair request because they don't affect the functionality of the house, and odds are that the seller will turn you down, okay? So once it's submitted, the seller typically has a few days to respond to the repair request, and their response could be a variety of different answers. They can agree to repair all of the repairs, they can agree to none of them, or they can agree to some of them. Once you both then agree as to how to move forward with everything, everyone is then tasked to address their responsibilities towards getting the deal closed. This then takes us into step 11. While we are still under contract, we now get homeowner's insurance on the home. Now, this isn't an option if you're financing the home with the lender. The lender will require for you to have home insurance on the home. Plus, you will want to make sure that your investment is protected, so everyone wins with that. Now, depending on where you live, you may also be required to have additional insurances like earthquake, flood, fire insurance, and the lender will let you know as to what insurances they will expect you to have in order to give you the loan. Now, the homeowner's insurance is designed to cover the structure of the house and your belongings in case of damage or theft. Step number 12, do you want a home warranty? Now it is time to decide if you want to purchase a home warranty. Home warranties are service contracts that provide coverage for repairs and replacement of home systems and appliances that can occur during normal wear and tear. Now, they cover things like plumbing, HVAC systems, electrical systems, kitchen appliances, garage doors, and more, depending on the coverage that you choose. Now, be aware that each home warranty provider may offer different coverage options and have different costs and cost structures, so it's important to review the terms and conditions before deciding. Now, since home warranties typically range from $400 and up to $1,000 annually, I personally suggest to my buyers to get a home warranty as a best practice, just to make sure the functional equipment and such a big investment is covered, just to be safe. Now, deciding to purchase one or not is at a buyer's complete discretion, but I have seen many times where buyers have decided to decline home warranty coverage and later ended up regretting it big time. So, for that small investment, I would just suggest to do it. Now we're on to step 13. While you're working on inspections, insuring the home, and deciding on a home warranty, the lender is also doing their due diligence into the property, which is to have the home appraised. The appraisal is something that the lender will have set up, and the appraisal is done to protect the bank so they can make sure the home is a solid investment for them. Plus, they want to make sure it appraises at the value you are purchasing the home for. Banks will only lend up to the appraised value of the home, because if for some reason you weren't able to make your payment and defaulted on the house, they will have money owed to them by you that exceeds the value of the house, which is a position no bank ever wants to be in. So they're going to make sure that the amount that they are lending to you to buy the house is a justifiable risk for them. Now, there can be 3 different turnouts for the appraisal. The appraiser could appraise the home above sales value, and this is always nice because you'll have built-in equity the moment you buy the home. So an example of this would be as if you're under contract to buy a house for $570,000 and the appraiser comes back and says that they actually think the house is worth $584,000. That's great because you literally just got $14,000 worth of equity in your property. You didn't even do anything. Now, the house can also appraise at the sales price, and this happens the majority of the time. The appraiser will know how much you're under contract for in the property, so they may literally give you the exact appraisal value as to the sales price. Now, the last and least desirable outcome is that the house appraises below the sales price. If that was to happen, you would then not be able to get enough money lent to you to buy the house, so you have 2 options. One would be using cash you have saved up to make up for the difference between the contract price and the appraised value. Another option is to see if you can work with the seller to let them know that the house did not appraise at the contract price and see if they're willing to bring the purchase price down to the appraised value so you don't have to come out of the pocket anymore. Now, in a neutral market, meaning that homes are selling within 3 to 6 months, so the market isn't really showing favoritism towards buyers or sellers, usually the seller is pretty understanding of the house not appraising and will often reduce the purchase price down to the appraised value. Step 14, final walkthrough. Okay, only 2 more steps and you're on your way to teaching a home buyer masterclass, so let's get into it. Step 14 is your final step before closing, and this is for you to complete your final walkthrough. Now, this is done to make sure that all of the agreed upon repairs that you negotiated with the seller when the home inspection was done were completed, and you get a chance to personally verify it all. There's also the option to request receipts for repairs for things that are difficult to verify or inspect yourself. Now, at the final walkthrough, I always suggest that the buyer do a visual inspection themselves or to request receipts of the work completed to save money from having to have somebody come out and do a re-inspection for you. The walkthrough is also a great way to make sure that the house is in the same condition it was in before you put an offer on it, so you feel comfortable at the closing knowing your house is what you expected and is in good working order. Step 15, we are closing on the new house. Now, for most contracts nowadays, you are going to review and sign your closing disclosure documents online. These documents will be sent to your email address and are required by law to be sent to you at least 3 days prior to your closing date. This document will include all of your financials of the transaction. They will show what your purchase price is, how much your down payment is, all of your insurances, taxes, prepaid amounts. They'll cover all the closing costs, lender fees, recording fees, commissions, title work fees, etc. It's a full breakdown of the financials associated with your home purchase. You will also want to arrange payment of your cash needed to close via a cashier's check from your bank or a wire transfer, and your agent will help you through this process. But you will need to arrange these finances prior to closing so you could bring them to the table at your closing. They won't accept actual cash, so cashier's checks and wire transfers are always best practices. Now, the closing can all happen digitally online, or it could take place at a title office or a real estate attorney's office. Now, once all that's done, the keys are handed to you and you are good to go. Congratulations! There you have the complete process to buying a home step by step. So you are officially now one of the most informed buyers in the real estate market. Now, if you have any more questions, let me know in the comments below and I will respond back. Now, don't forget the amazing level of value I offer my clients. So when you're ready to buy or sell anywhere in the Central Valley or need a great agent anywhere nationwide, let me know. I got you. I have access to a network of great agents from all over, so reach out to me so we can begin working on your smooth transition to wherever it is you need to go. Now, like and subscribe if this video helped you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.